Harry's Wife, Part 102.26. Coterie, Defend Me. You might recall a popular television programme from years past that began with this. 10 years ago, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team. Cue the memorable music. Well, of course, an alternative would be, these people are formed around you in order to defend you, do your bidding, and propagate your facade. Today, they are still utilized, currying favor from the narcissist, and occasionally lashing out at those that offend the narcissist's perception of control. If you have a problem with incalcitrant appliances or general attacks against your person, if no one else can help, and, of course, you'll readily find them, maybe you can then utilize the coterie. And this, of course, is what narcissists regularly do, and I've explained in separate videos what the coterie is and how it functions. That essentially it's made up of normals, possibly empaths, even sometimes other narcissists, who are utilized there to, often of their own volition, state favourable things about the narcissist, carry out tasks and errands for the narcissist, support the narcissist. Thus they provide fuel, they demonstrate they're compliant and under control, they can provide character traits and the residual benefits, the provision of money, the provision of a job, a provision of help, maintenance of the facade, of which they are particularly important. And here, Harry's wife calls upon a coterie member. She has been getting a bit of a rough ride as of late, as I explained in parts passing. And in NetflixJunkie.com, an article by Surbani Biswas tells us, much of the work she does is unseen by the public. I bet it is, when Harry's wife's friend Misha Nonu defended her from the backlash. Harry's wife has been receiving a lot of heat ever since her romance with Prince Harry started. It got worse when she got married, and then stepped down from royal duties. She was shunned for separating her family from the royal family and relocating all the way to California. Even now, she continues to receive flack. Public opinion is at an all-time low for the Duchess of Sussex. Quite recently, royal expert Angela Mollard had raised eyebrows at the upbringing of Archie and Lilibet. Well, the mother of two has got her hands full with Motherhood, a podcast of her own, and the backlash. Wow, she must have small hands, which we know isn't true because she has man hands. But you think you've got your hands full with Motherhood, a podcast, and a backlash? Try doing what a normal person does. Try being the ultra. But of course she can't. She has nowhere near the level of industry that I have. However, the article continues, her friends are always there to have her back, i.e. the coterie, like this one time when her friend fired back at the haters. According to Misha, Harry's wife is extremely compassionate. Born in Bahrain, fashion designer Misha Nonu is a long-time friend of the Duchess, i.e. non-intimate secondary source in the coterie. They met each other through mutual friends in Miami. The designer had spoken up about Harry's wife's compassionate nature. Apparently, Harry's wife did a lot of behind-the-scenes work to help out others, that the PR never got a whiff of it. I don't believe that. Quite simply, I see this as a revision of history. Because Harry's wife's narcissism is such, in accordance with the Pet Shop Boys song, Flamboyant, she has to put everything out there. Everything that she does, from whether it's burping or crossing the road, has to be reported on. And that's why we get so many PR puff pieces. So you're not telling me that there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that isn't reported on. I call bullshit. The fact is, if she did it, she'd have it reported. Indeed, in some instances, she claims to have done it when she never did. Witness the doling out of food at Uvalde, when all it was a couple of miserable vending machine sandwiches, as reported on the ground by a nurse that was there in the Uvalde Reddit subthread. But she wasn't the only friend that put up a line of defence for the Suits actress. Tennis legend Serena Williams is also part of the Duchess's inner circle of friends, according to the Duchess. The two met at a Super Bowl and became fast friends due to her shining personality. The international player had some really good advice for the Harry's wife, and that's what they've written, on how to handle fame. But it seems despite her friends standing up for her and vouching for her, the public still hasn't warmed up to her, and neither have the royal members. King Charles apparently prevented her from accompanying Prince Harry to Balmoral. Her family was further demoted and later updated the royal website, and the king is still considering granting titles of his and her Royal Highness to Archie and Lilibet. And then the question is posed, do you think Harry's wife deserves all that harsh criticism? Tell us in the comments below. Well, let's scroll down to the comments and see what's written. Yes, it's positively Alaskan. Cold, vast, and empty. Therefore, nobody's bothered themselves to say that they agree. But the fact is that these are Coterie members that are wheeled out by Harry's wife, and sometimes of their own volition, because they have been blinded, because they are brainwashed, subjected to benign behaviours by her, and they just don't accept that she's an unpleasant and nasty narcissist. Therefore, they can be relied upon, periodically, to talk in favourable terms about Harry's wife, thus demonstrating that they remain under control, also providing her with fuel, but also, importantly, aiding her in the nullification of those threats to control posed by criticism from other quarters, and being there to maintain that all-important facade for her. Coterie members are most important to narcissists, and mid-range narcissists extensively utilise them. They can be seen with lesser narcissists and also greater narcissists, but it's the mid-rangers that use them the most. Greater narcissists and ultra have a greater access to resources and simply move in that rarefied atmosphere whereby they don't particularly concern themselves with what's being said about them, because they just regard it as the tittle-tattle of the little people, and they're about such grand designs that they're focused on much more important matters. Lessers are, in a way, similar, albeit far less competent. They really don't give a fig. Sure, if you badmouth them, they'll lash out at you, but generally they cruise through life like a wrecking ball. It is the mid-rangers that operate the facades, who very much care about the way that they are perceived, because they view themselves as fundamentally decent, kind and empathic people, and anything that's said to the contrary about that either is challenge fuel and threatens their sense of control, and they really don't like it. And therefore, they have to have these hangers-on, these flunkies, these knee-suckers, these elbow people there to reject that. And thus, that's why the Coterie persists and exists. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.